everybody. So I thought today, as it's Friday, we would do a slightly different session. This is what I've called 5 ways to be healthy as a writer, healthy writing tips. So first of all, number one thing you need as a writer is a good cup of coffee. My morning routine is to start by either in a cafe, when we could go to cafes, or at home, make myself a good cup of coffee, and that helps me get going. It may be coffee isn't your drink, but basically find yourself your space. But actually it's not being silly, because the coffee is my signal that I should start work. We all need that if we're working at home, to give ourselves little signals through the day that this is the time when I start work, this is my break, and so on. You have to construct a schedule for yourself. So tip number one is find your starting gun, and this is mine. It's my cup of coffee. Okay, so healthy writing tip number 2 is to make sure that you don't spend a long time in the same place writing on the same machine. So I have a desktop, which is just over there. Excuse me while I have some of my coffee. But I also work on iPads and sometimes on my phone. So if you've got compatible software from your tablet to whatever, your desktop, your phone, and if you have less resources than that, maybe swap from writing on a screen to writing by hand, whatever it is that fits in your context. That's really good as well, because it means you're not sitting in the same position. Because one of the things that many writers come across is they get repetitive strain injury. And one of the reasons you get this is when you're so into writing something, you can be sitting there like that for a long time and not noticing the hours passing. And this can store up problems. I certainly experienced that when I've got really excited about something, I've forgotten about keeping to a healthy pattern. So don't do that. So another healthy writing habit, I think, is to keep notebooks. This is number 3. As we're in my study, I've brought some of my notebooks out. I keep them, this is just one of the boxes. I keep my old notebooks in boxes so that I can look back. All different. So I can remember, yes, I remember I was writing that book when I was in my horse phase, for example. So thank you to manufacturers of nice notebooks. And they range in size. This kind of size I would use when travelling, if you can see that. But in there I will note down in diary form, dated, ideas. I'll plan stories. I'll make, so this is the 5th of November 2015. Add intensity to Kell. I must have been writing Peril, I reckon. Anyway, whatever I was writing at that time, I make notes to remind myself to do things. Oh look, and here I am planning a story. That's actually, that looks like the last of my Struck series that I'm planning there. So there you go. Have a good notebooks, like this is your personal files. When you become incredibly famous, obviously this is what you donate to a library eventually, as digital files aren't very exciting. Anyway, seriously, keep a good notebook and then keep hold of them, because you never know when you might want to look back. So that was healthy writing number 3. And number 4 is keep on reading. Now, these are things which I'm reading at the moment. So during the lockdown, I've decided to read Anna Karenina. It's the classic I never got to. It's been my guilty secret. Have you got one of those? Anyway, so I've decided, even though I know how it ends, which is what put me off reading it, I decided I'd finally get round to reading it. So do keep on reading classics, really good writing from the past. It will increase your imagination and the territory that you can inhabit. But also keep reading contemporary novels. So I've just read this one, for example. It's called Overstory by Richard Powers. A really interesting take. It's an American environmental novel. Because you don't want to write like Dickens or Jane Austen. I mean, that's not how we write now, so you need to keep a contemporary flavour as well. And in addition to reading prose, I would certainly recommend reading poetry. I'm laughing because Anne Elliot in Persuasion talks to Captain Benwick about adding prose to his diet of poetry. I'm suggesting the other way round, that you need to keep on reading poetry, seeing plays. There's plenty online that you can look at in this time, but when we're back out, members go to the theatre, and other forms of art, paintings, all sorts. Put as much as you can in your imagination. That is a really healthy imagination, one that keeps being stimulated. And my final healthy writing tip is very special, and I've got to go and get it, so just bear with me. And here is healthy writing habit number 5, keeping active. Now, I keep active by taking my dogs for a walk. This is the one I can fit on my lap, whose name is Archie. Archie, you look at the camera. I don't think he's very impressed. I think he wants his walk. Obviously, at the moment, I'm only going out with them once a day. But the serious point for writing is don't just sit there and stare at your screen all day. Make sure that you have down times, because you'll find it's during those walks or the run that you take, or whatever it is that you're doing to have a relaxation, that's when a lot of your ideas will fall into place. Don't you think, Archie? Smile at the camera. Nah, he's not impressed, is he? Anyway, so I better take him out for his walk a bit later. But anyway, keep active. Off you go. Ah, now he wants to stay. Yeah, I love you too.